three, four. Occupation no more. Occupation no more.
It was a peaceful protest, even though it had all the ingredients for trouble. The organisers wanted a follow-up from the last rally, saying they want to ensure the subject is not taboo and everyone can speak up. They point out this is an ongoing conflict and that therefore now's the time to do it. They wanted a peaceful rally and did not believe it would cause unnecessary friction.
I understand that, but another thing is that I don't see these questions being asked when Mr. Piazza decided to light the castle in Israeli colours. When he also said that he stood with Israel, I didn't see these questions being asked. Also, there's all walks of life here, and I think it's really important to really educate others, no matter how people are going to be offended by it.
When it comes to a divide, there's always a divide here, whether it's a topic of Palestine and Israel, where it's another sort of topic that we've had in the past before. In the end, I think people will show who they really are and what they really care about. And if you don't stand for anything, then you're going to fall for everything.
Security had been sharpened, with the RGP bolstered by other law enforcement agencies, including customs. The Jewish community says it's held back from reacting despite many feeling the need to defend their position. In a statement, Bring Them Home says that despite many reasonable voices within the community expressing reservations about litigating this painful conflict on the streets of Gibraltar, it's clear some people feel compelled to continue pushing for this to happen. Today, members stood with memorabilia of the 124 hostages held by Hamas.
The reason is that obviously we didn't come out here to try and, counter protest. This was very much a silent assembly in order to show our feelings, but we didn't come here in order to try and spoil their protest, not at all. And we felt that the best way to talk about what's going on in Israel and what's going on with the war is to highlight the plight of our hostages. And there's still 132 hostages being held. They're voiceless, and they're scared, they're alone, they've been abused. And we felt that the right thing to do was to remind everyone that until the hostages have been returned to Israel, who has every single right in the world to defend its citizens and to try and get them back, until the hostages are returned, there cannot be a peace. And so if anyone wants peace out there, what they need to be doing is they need to be requesting the release of the hostages. And we pray and we hope that those hostages are released as soon as possible and that this war can finally be over. I mean, the most important thing that I have to say is that this is not something that we wanted to do. We're very saddened, very disappointed to have felt the need to come out onto the streets. After the first pro-Palestinian demonstration, the Jewish community felt that in order to keep the cohesion of Gibraltarian society, we would put the needs of Gibraltar above our own and above our own feelings. And we decided not to do a demonstration, not to do a rally. We wanted to put everyone's feelings above our own. Faced now with a second pro-Palestinian demonstration, we felt it was important to come out and raise our voices and explain how we feel about hearing this sort of rhetoric on the streets of Gibraltar.
And how do you feel?
It's very concerning for us. It's obviously we've spent the last 7-8 months listening and watching to how these demonstrations have been taking hold all over the world. And unfortunately, these demonstrations have always started very peacefully, asking for peace and for ceasefires. But as they develop and as they take hold, they've become a lot more, there's a lot more hatred, there's a lot more anti-Israel rhetoric, and inevitably that's been causing a huge rise in anti-Semitism throughout the world, and this is what we don't want in Gibraltar. Obviously, we respect everyone's freedom of expression and their right to come out onto the streets and express what they feel about the war, but it's something that we're very scared about importing into Gibraltar, because Gibraltar has always been a very small, very peaceful, village essentially. And we feel that this sort of rhetoric on our streets is very divisive. It's not something that, in my opinion, we should be hearing in Gibraltar. And if you can hear now the chants that we're hearing, this is something that's very scary for the Jewish community. And I think it should be very scary for Gibraltar as a whole to listen to on the streets.
I'm overwhelmed with how happy with how the match went. It went exactly how we expected it to last time, which was peaceful and respectful. No kind of issues or anything like that, so we're very happy with how it's gone ahead.
There are those who would question just how respectful it was, and that perhaps there were some provocative statements like Israel is a terror state. And
Okay, so what we need to do here is, one, we need to take the word offense. And just because something is said and someone found it offensive doesn't necessarily mean that it's meant as offensive. That is a personal opinion, and how people take that is not something that we can control. With regards to saying that Israel is a terror state, I think we need to take as well what the word terror means, and what they have created in Gaza, what they're doing to the Palestinians, is something that is from a terror movie. It is terror. So to say that Israel are a terror state with what they are inflicting on the Palestinian people, I stand by that.
so perhaps when the march actually came to the Piazza, the mood suddenly changed, and there was a bit of sort of standing up to the members of the Jewish community here. Did you notice that at all? Was that?
We were at the front, and I didn't notice that. I do agree that, you know, there were lulls in the chanting, which is fine. There's quite a lot of people, and we were starting the chants from the very front. So by the time they got to the back, we can't control what people say. I don't believe there was any stand up. If they got a little bit louder, if everyone here is trying to prove a point as well. We're trying to prove that we stand with Palestine, that we stand against what Israel are doing to Palestine. And if that is that our voices get louder, then so be it.
I think it's important to address the fact that, you know, as well as an organiser, the amount of reports I've had to make, you know, against the messages that I've received calling me a terrorist supporter. You know, a few of the Muslim girls have actually had really Islamophobic messages and things like that. So, you know, obviously we just want peace on all sides, and we appreciate and we you know, respect that they wanted to do a counter demonstration. That's absolutely fine. It's within their constitutional rights, but, you know, as well, it's both sides.